So last night's Panorama was shocking, and yet it didn't surprise me because I know the situation out there. I hear from parents on a daily basis that tell me how much they're struggling with their children and their mental health, and they're concerned and they're worried and they're on waiting lists and they don't know where to go. And I'm not a mental health nurse, so I can't step in at that point and help them in the way I would want. I can advise them about how to maintain strong relationships, but once it's got to that point, it's really difficult to know what to say because I'm not a mental health nurse, so I can't help at that point. What I do is I talk about the importance of emotional development in children. I look at it from a scientific, evidence-based point of view. So there is this massive crisis where children's mental health is really struggling at the moment. And what we're doing is we're trying to pull all of these kids out of the stream. They're falling in and we're pulling them out, and there aren't enough towels, if you like, to dry them off. There aren't the services there that they are needed. So we need to be looking at why they're falling in there in the first place. What has changed that has meant that the children of this generation are struggling so much? And it's not as easy to say it's down to any one thing. I think it's an accumulation of things. And we have to look at how old our children are when we send them to school. It used to be that there were 3 intakes. Children were nearer to 5 as opposed to just turning 4 when they went. And to think that that doesn't come at a cost is ridiculous, because children aren't developmentally ready, even really at 5, to be separated from their primary caregivers into a system that is adult-led and is not play-centred, because children need play in order for their development, but also for their well-being. That is how children stop getting stressed, and children aren't playing as much. The other thing is, before they start school, children haven't got the same experiences as they used to. When I was young and I was playing out with the neighbourhood kids, if there was a situation that arose with another child, I had to sort that out myself. I didn't have my mum and dad to step in and sort it out for me. All those experiences really help form those strong foundations in our prime areas. And children haven't got those same experiences before they start school. So not only are they starting school earlier, but they're starting school with a different depth of foundation. It's not as deep and it's not as solid and it's not as strong. Playing independently, exploring independently, all plays a part in building those foundations. Social media, screen time, all impacts. Communication and language development, social and emotional development, all plays its part. All of those things accumulatively have contributed towards this massive health crisis. And unless we start looking at what we are doing to our children and addressing it at grassroots level, then this crisis is only going to get worse. Face-to-face social interaction, just general playtime as they get older, being out on their bikes, all that time away from parents. And parents are struggling. We are scared for our children, and as a result of that, it can make us wrap them in cotton wool. And I've done that myself with my children, where I have tried to protect them from big and difficult feelings and emotions. Let's be right, feelings are emotions. Emotions are the name that we ascribe to a physical sensation in our body. But what we as parents can do is we try to protect children from that, and we hijack their processing time. Or don't feel sad, or oh, don't cry, it'll be okay, or be brave. All of these things that we say to children that actually are making them think, okay, it's not right for me to be upset. It's not right for me to cry. Whereas our children we need to facilitate that process for them. They feel big emotions and difficult emotions. We need them to know they're not negative. It's not bad to feel that way, that everyone feels that way. Everyone feels big and difficult and sad emotions. And if we intervene all the time and try and prevent children from feeling that way, when they grow up and they begin to experience these emotions, they haven't had the experience in dealing with them, of processing them, of implementing strategies to support them during that time. Children need to experience those emotions. There's that whole scene in the Inside Out in the Disney film where Joy realizes she needs sadness after all that time of drawing that circle of sadness and keeping joy into the middle of it. She realizes we need sadness. It's part of us. The only way we don't feel these big and difficult emotions is if we're dead. But if we're alive, we feel them. So we've got to get used to feeling them. That gut instinct. We need to be nurturing that gut instinct in our children by telling them, do you know what? Yes, that's a difficult emotion, but what's it telling you? Because there will be times where children will be in a difficult situation. They will feel uncomfortable, unsafe, have to make decisions. And we want them to tune into that gut instinct in order for them to know how to act upon that. I feel uncomfortable, but that's okay. I feel uncomfortable. That's good. What's that telling me? I need to get out of here, or I need to ring mum, or I need to tell a trusted adult. Whatever it is, we want children to recognise their gut instincts. And if we try and tell them not to feel any emotion, we are allowing them to switch off that gut instinct. And you know what? A lot of this all sounds really hopeless, and I am venting a little bit here, but let's be clear with one thing. We can't fix things for our children. But the younger we start teaching children about emotions, about feelings, using emotional literacy strategies with them to help the development of their emotional intelligence, we are helping them to have skills to protect their mental health. We're not stopping them from developing mental health problems, but we're giving them the tools for them to use when those problems arise. That's so important. That's so important. You know, in our classrooms, you know, don't cry and I'll give you a sticker. They're crying because they want to cry and they need to cry. If someone tells you not to cry, it makes you want to cry more, not less. We need to address this from grassroots level up. I don't know what the answer is for the current crisis that we're pulling these children out of the river for. Something needs to be done and the help has to be given. But we do need early intervention. And I do believe that having emotional literacy and full child development training could change how we respond in schools. And it could really impact our children's mental health for the better. We have the evidence and we have the science. So why isn't it being utilised to help protect our children's emotional well-being? Some things have to change. They have to change. And it can't be in 10 years. It has to be now. It has to be now. So upsetting. Information that people don't know they need until they know it. And then you realise you need it. Every trainee teacher needs this training. Every parent needs this level of understanding. Do you know, it's going to take more than a village to solve this problem. It is going to take an army. But if we all join forces, we can be that army to make change. And our children deserve it. They deserve it.